Hi everyone, it's Ann from Anneliese's Creations. I'm here to do my monthly ATC for the month of February. I'm behind a bit, so I'm going to get started on it. I'll show you what I'm going to show you how to make. I'm making this, it's supposed to be a Southwest theme, and I really couldn't find anything that really said Southwest to me, so yeah. So I'm just kind of working with it. All right, so I cut out some ATCs out of watercolor paper. Now ATCs are 2.5 by 3.5 inches if you're not aware of that. I belong to an ATC swap group on Instagram. The lady that heads it, I got to know her through just trading ATCs with her last year, and she started heading some ATC swaps. All right, I'll be right back. I cut this out of watercolor paper. I don't believe in buying the packets that they sell in the stores because the paper is a lot flimsier than the watercolor paper I normally buy. So I like cutting mine out if I'm going to be using it for painting, or I may cut out a cereal box because it's better to upcycle or recycle things than to go out and buy stuff, is my opinion. So today I'm going to be making this. Okay, so I'm going to start out with, I'm going to be using the DecoArt Media Fluid Acrylics in varying colors. Okay, and the first color I'm going to start out with is the quinacridone magenta. All right, and this time I'm kind of doing a longer video, so bear with me. If you don't like the talking, you can fast forward, or you can, you can fast forward through it, I think, on your laptop if you click on the settings button. So yeah, you can fast forward or slow down, I think. So anyways, I'm going to use the magenta, and I'm just going to put a little bit on my palette. I got this very messy palette out, and I've wet my brush down pretty good. They're fluid acrylics, so they're really thinned down acrylics, and I'm just going to go ahead and add some on here. And it's a little bit, I didn't wet my brush enough, so I'm coming back in and I'm going to wet it down really well. Then I'm going to come in with some, what is it? Oh, I started out with the primary magenta when I meant to do the quinacridone, and that's okay because I can come back in and redo it here. Oh, it was that. Never mind. I'm losing it, guys. I'm losing it. Okay, so now I'm coming in with the primary magenta. I thought that that's what I had put down, and I guess I didn't. Yeah, it's different. It's a little bit less red, less magenta-y, I should say. So I'm doing that, and I'm kind of going by my example, but I think I went a little too far down, and that's okay. Then I'm coming in with the Pyrrole Red, and I'm going to do a small amount of that as well. I'm going to wet my brush down a little more. And because they're within the same color family, whatever you want to call it on the color wheel, they're not going to turn to mud, so I'm not worried about exchanging my, changing off my paint, my brushes. Okay. Then I'm going to come in with a little bit of the orange. Okay. It's cadmium orange hue, if you're wondering. And it's not wanting to come out. Come on. Yeah, it's not cooperating. There we go. Okay. So I'm coming in with a little bit of that. Kind of making like a really sunset sky. And then I'm going to come in with a little bit of the yellow, the Hansa Yellow Medium it's called. I'm just going to add a little bit of that in the sky. And then I'm going to leave it to about there. And I'm going to rinse my brush off really good because I'm going to come in with some black now. Because I want to do the ground part, okay? And I'm going to whip my brush again. There we go. Oops. Well, that wasn't good. I just kind of added some black marks to my sky, which I really didn't intend on doing. Yeah, oh well. I may have to turn those into birds. So, I don't know what did that, but oh well, I guess it was meant for me to put in some birds. Except I added a little bit too much on my brush. Not working. See if I can, oh yeah, good, I can wipe it off. Yay! Okay, so I'm just going to come back in and use the black, a little more black on this. I want a little darker. So I'm coming in with my black. It worked out really well before, and I don't know why. I think my brush was really too wet when I put this down, so oh well. So I'm going to come in and just make little marks on the ground and kind of just, yeah, there we go. So I want it darker, and for some reason my brush wasn't coming dark enough. I think it was because I had too much water on my brush is part of the problem. Okay. And I didn't turn on my overhead lights, so I'm going to do that right now because it adds a little bit better lighting in here. Alright, so next I'm going to do this cactus that's, you know, it's a black cat, you know, cacti are really green or whatever, but this is supposed to be a sunset, so you don't really see the color of the real color of the, whatchamacallit, of the cactus. So I traced out what the size of my card was, and I drew some cacti on here. But they're not really that great, so as I'm cutting them out, I'm going to fix the size and the shape, I think, a little bit. And then I'll paint over that in a minute. So I'm going to cut it out. Okay. I'm just going to try and straighten this up a little bit better before we go on to anything else. Plus, this is kind of drawing anyways. Okay, so here's my cacti, okay? And I'm going to come back in a few minutes after this is dried, and I will continue. So I bought these doilies. They're denim polka dot doilies. And the one that I used here, I had cut in half and cut off the excess because I didn't want it going too far over. See, that one goes too far over. So I'm going to glue it to right about here. But I'm going to be using my fabric stiffener from Americana. It stiffens the fabric, but it also glues it down at the same time. So I'm not worried about it. Yeah, so it basically glues down at the same time. So that's what I'm going to do. And then with the miracle of the camera, I'll come back a little later when it's all dry, okay? So I just kind of go over it this way and over here, and then I get it down, okay? basically, I bet you it's cornstarch they use in this. I remember my mother using cornstarch to stiffen material growing up. Anyhow, so you do it like this, and you kind of, you know, get the material all wet too. You know, soak this, make it sure that it kind of soaks in, and then it basically it will go ahead and stiffen, but at the same time it adheres to the paper, which is really cool. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm just making sure that it soaks in really well. And then I'll come back later when it's nice and dry and trim off the edge, and then we'll continue. So enjoy. All right, everyone, so I'm back, and this is pretty much dry. It's still just a tiny bit damp, but it does dry stiff, which is really cool. Okay, then I'm going to glue the cactus here using Anneliese's tacky glue. But first I'm going to use a Posca pen and just re-outline a little bit of the cactus. One cactus, two cacti, or cactuses, I guess. All right. All right, so I'm going to use Anneliese's tacky glue for this. Okay. So I'm going to glue it down here. And this tacky glue goes on white, but it dries clear, as I said before. So I'm just gonna push it down a little bit, and it should adhere. And while that's drying, I'm gonna come around and add the other things to it, okay? So I need my lettering, which I printed out on my computer. Now, the ATC group I belong to, the criteria for this year is that we need to use layers. We cannot use stickers, so you have to be creative, and you're not supposed to use, you know, the only stickers that you could use are like maybe Tim Holtz's words or whatever. Well, this isn't a sticker. I printed this out on my computer, so to me it's not a sticker, so hopefully she won't think it's a sticker once it's cut up and stuff. I don't know. So we'll hope that it's acceptable. And I'm going to color it with my Faber-Castell Pitt pen in ivory. It's just a very pale, like yellow almost. I wouldn't say it's ivory colored, but it's, yeah, it'll work. It'll do. And so I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to take a glue stick and glue that down. So I got to find my glue stick, which is right here. I'm using the Scotch wrinkle-free glue stick. It's very, very sticky. So you kind of have to be careful when you're sticking it down that your fingers don't get caught or whatever, stuck, because it's happened before to me. So I'm putting it here, and I'm just going to gently smooth it out. And then with my heat gun, I'm just going to go ahead and dry the paper out a little bit, okay, because it was still a little damp from the pen. And then I'm going to add a little bit of bling. So I'm going to add this as the bling. And this year, in previous years, she didn't care if it had embellishments or not. But this year, she said, go for it. Go for the embellishments. They don't have to be flat, you know, nothing like that, which I kind of like because I like adding bling to my stuff. And so, yeah. So this might not fit in a binder. Like I have a binder that has a sheet protector, but it's made for trading cards, for cards. Like sports cards or, you know, that kind of thing. And they're pockets, almost like the pocket letters you see. Well, basically the same thing. And so I use that to store, I will store a lot of my ATCs that I receive from people in a binder, but like this one probably won't fit in the binder, so they'll have to display it like I do with a lot of my ATCs. My favorite ATCs get displayed. So anyway, so that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. It was quick and easy. Quick, easy way of making an ATC, but making it look artsy. And I hope you enjoyed it and that you'll come back next time. And thanks for watching. Toodles, bye. Have a wonderful day.